coyote that's 4 foot long, 50 pounds. You didn't know about this?
No, I don't know anything about it. Swear to God.
I had never heard of this, but it's just a massive sort of subspecies of coyote that lives way up in the Sierras, and they just fuck shit up, dude.
Coyotes are often found hunting solo, snatching the kill and fleeing into the wind. It is very rare to see them in packs.
Only on 12 News, coyotes versus a cat. A chilling encounter caught on camera.
But what if I tell you I found a large pack of hungry coyotes out chasing the prey? Stay tuned till the end because you're in for a lot of surprises. Let's get started. Number 1, the largest pack of coyote. This is a group of 8 coyotes that were recorded sniffing the ground. Normally, you won't find a group of more than 6 coyotes. The coyote likes to pick a solo fight and sticks to hunting alone. So, is it unusual? Yes. But does it make the pack less aggressive? Definitely not. The coyotes are mighty territorial. One wrong move, and the whole pack will go after the other.
Like and subscribe right now, and you'll have amazing luck for the rest of the week.
So, if they have formed this strange alliance, they are out with a purpose, to find food. With this big of a pack, I doubt they will face any trouble. Number 2, the Battle of the Alphas. You have to see this footage. This pair of coyotes was spotted mingling in the snow, but then things turned from cheesy to brutal pretty fast. This isn't your average end-of-the-day call to a friend. No, the pair is definitely not inviting the other pack over for dinner. Instead, they are trying to build an invisible wall around the land, marking their territory. But that's the problem with invisible walls. Anybody can come in. Like this pack of 3 coyotes that wasn't very far from the pair. They launched straight into an attack. Way to ruin a date.
The Yip Howl declares to other coyotes that this territory is occupied. They are answered by a neighboring pack.
But the coyotes aren't wolves who'd kill another pack just to show who's the boss. These guys have other fierce tricks up their sleeves. The alphas are the ones that charge first. Growling and biting usually do the trick, and one alpha takes away the bragging rights along with the land. The same thing happened in this fight. The pair took the win and sent the trio into a walk of shame. Out, and away. Number 3, the attack of the trio. One human-like trait of the coyotes is that they also form an alliance, but only when food is scarce in the field. Then, they split up like the Scooby-Doo gang to find what's left of the prey in the jungle. When one of them finds something, they let out a wild howl to call for help. This coyote had sniffed out a trail too. 2 more joined in on the scene, with a hungry stomach and a growling spirit. This guy is definitely the alpha.
But when food is scarce, they form bigger packs to catch larger prey.
Taking charge and going for the young. But he made the mistake of doing it in front of a witty mother. She crafted a distraction for the hunters and ended up becoming a punching bag for the coyotes. It didn't last long though. The mother had a few tricks left to play. She couldn't possibly have outrun 3 angry coyotes, so she found a hole and slithered into safety. The pack may have failed this time, but it was a close one for the otter. Number 4, 3 Vs. 3. This is the battle between 3 very aggressive coyotes and 3 protective deers. The winner gets the fawn. It was only one guy chasing after the fawn at first. You can tell that he is a born soldier, the one who leads the cavalry. But it was 3 against 1. A coyote's bite isn't as fast.
See that?
Oh my God. They're trying to get this. Oh, look at this. This is incredible.
It tried snatching the fawn in its mouth, but 3 deers kept butting in. Then, the alpha did something smart. He led the deers on a blind chase and the fawn into the mouths of the other coyote. Number 5, the stubborn victim. A mule deer is probably the toughest prey coyotes have to catch. But that doesn't stop them from going after the buck. Especially if the coyotes are in a pack of 3, it is like being pecked by a bunch of angry birds. The only problem here is that these guys are here to kill.
On Utah's famous Antelope Island, nature is raw and unforgiving, as the battle for survival is never more evident than in this iPhone video filmed by Dale Pearson.
The mule deer was spotted struggling in this fight. Despite the deer being double the size of a single coyote, it is a slow poke. And this chase right here is a piece of cake for the predators. Within a few seconds, the deer was trapped and a meal for the pack of coyotes. Number 6, coyotes versus wolves. Coyotes don't like wolves, and I don't blame them. The wolves hunt them down and devour them whole. I'd call that a good enough reason. The problem is that both of them are fond of the same food. So, in the wild, they are big threats to each other. And if that comes to killing, so be it. At least, that's how the wolves think. The coyotes are not that big or strong enough to have such wild thoughts. So, they stick to fleeing. Look at this clip here. A massive pack of wolves saw a feast spread out in the middle of the snow. That called all the predators to the same spot, from birds to coyotes. But here's the thing. That small meal wasn't going to fill up the stomachs of such a huge pack. So they decided to look for a fresh kill who just so happened to be eating straight out of the open carcass, the coyote. This new target led the wolves to chase after the poor fella. With his small size and tiny legs, the coyote couldn't outrun the wolves, but the other coyote was far away. He saw the fate of his brother and decided to bolt out of there. A few wolves tried to chase him down, because what's better than one coyote? Two of them. But it was life or death for the animal. He wasn't about to accept his death sentence that easily. He fled and watched the horror unfold on his brother from miles away. Number 7. What's for dinner? Raccoons and coyotes are each other's sworn enemy. They have an unspoken pact. See the other party and bully them. Sometimes things turn ugly, and one of these animals ends up getting hurt, or worse, killed. This party of raccoons was busy munching at a campfire. Suddenly, a pair of glinting balls came into focus. The raccoons saw the lurking predator and bolted. Except for one. He probably didn't get the memo and decided to finish his meal. Soon enough, one turned into 4, and the coyotes cornered the raccoon. They took turns to attack as if they were playing poker. Those aggressive pokes got the raccoon crying for his mother. The poor guy decided to turn the sweet corner and hide in the bushes. But the coyotes weren't out to hunt for the raccoon. They were only interested in what they were eating. They sniffed the campfire and found nothing edible. All that fight for nothing. Number 8. The pesky pair. Coyotes aren't good at sharing food. You'd spread a large feast on the field, and the coyotes would make sure they were the only ones there. They'd send everyone else running, especially raccoons. Look at this clip here. A party of raccoons had found a corn pile and were enjoying the free feast. A coyote walked by, and the tension started brimming high. The raccoons hadn't finished eating, and the coyotes wanted the whole pile to be themselves.
Likewise, under various moods, raccoons sometimes stand their ground and discourage single coyotes. But in rare footage, here's what can happen when a coyote shows up.
You can imagine how that was an issue. Sadly, one young raccoon got into the middle of this mess and ended up losing its life. Later, the same raccoon was spotted lying on the ground, dead. It was all about revenge. Still think coyotes don't have a dark side? Number 9. The playful bunch. When the night falls in a neighborhood crammed with humans, it is time for the coyotes to sneak out. That's the only time they find a good enough time and space to hunt. This pack was probably excited about that thought too. They left their hiding spot and ended up getting recorded on the camera. The pack of 6 coyotes is the biggest group you'll find, excluding the rare find. But howling isn't rare among coyotes. They start with a growling sound that is often accompanied with howls, yips, and barks. Don't mistake their howl with that of the wolf, though. It isn't one long noise. Instead, the coyotes take pitch breaks, with the noise rising and falling at the same time. It is pretty marvelous, as you can hear. Number 10. The Battle of the Carcass. Wolves were done with this carcass, but there were other mouths that were left to be fed. Bald eagles can spot a meal from miles away. A group of massive eagles touched the ground, but they had some tough competition. The coyote. This guy had been watching the wolves feast for a long time.
A coyote. He has been shadowing the wolves and moves in now they have gone.
So, now that it was finally his turn to feast, he wasn't about to let that chance slide. Absolutely not. The coyote inches closer to the carcass. The battle is on, with both the animals eyeing each other. But the coyote is far too hungry to find another meal. With a squeaky yet ferocious growl, the coyote leaps into action and scares the bird away. Number 11. Target spotted. If you think a coyote won't be out in broad daylight in a neighborhood to take down a dog, you'd be wrong, because this coyote had the guts to pull that off. The poor doggo became the target of this coyote's hunt. With repeated strikes, the predator launched at the dog, but the brave dog kept pushing against its predator. The coyote was probably scared of the humans around. Otherwise, the dog would have been an easy hunt for the coyote. Number 12. The Yipping Pack. This is another great footage of a pack of coyotes howling. This time, they are doing it during the day. That shouldn't surprise you. But when do they even sleep? You see, coyotes work round the clock. They mostly hunt during the day. But when things get tough, they have to take on the night shift too. This pack was simply marking their territory. Almost all coyotes howl when they are acting territorial. They will let the other pack know that this part of the land is not to be crossed. Number 13. The chase is on. This trail camera recorded something wild. Now, there is no battle about to break out here, but this clip will give you a sneak peek of how the coyotes prowl at night. The deers often march after nightfall to avoid the predators. But in doing so, they stumble upon an even bigger threat, the coyote. They were spotted a few seconds later, running off into the wind. They had probably come face to face with the coyotes. I can't tell if there was any collateral damage, but I bet the way the coyotes came running, they wanted a bigger kill. This patrol split up and went on a crazy run to find the deer. Number 14, the Howling pack. You want to know if the coyotes reign in a fierce kind of terror in the wild? Watch this clip. A deer and a couple of rabbits were busy scrambling for food in the forest. Suddenly, a sound echoed in the woods. This is the same noise you hear at night too, if you live near a jungle. Do they disturb your sleep as well? A howl of a single coyote is equivalent to a lawnmower. But when the pack howls together, it is a warning alarm for everyone nearby. Run and hide, or stay and get devoured. Even though their voices can be heard as far as 1,000 yards, it doesn't take long for these three to pack up their bags and leave. They weren't about to test if they could outrun a sprinting pack of hungry coyotes. Best to just run. Number 15, the Lone Hunter. A coyote is a known scavenger if I haven't already told you. If you find one lurking in the wild, there is a high chance they are looking for a feast to snack on. This one isn't any different. He was recorded snatching a giant piece of meat from the open buffet. And just like that, he was on his way. But that definitely didn't stop his stomach from growling, because a few minutes later, he was out on the field again. This time,
coyotes are 100% the cleanup crew. We documented 3 individuals feeding on this elk carcass for over a week.
His eyes were set on a massive flock of snow geese taking flight, his favorite prey. But they were already feet away from him. Wait, what's that? An injured bird? Tasty. Here's a fun fact about these dog-like animals. The coyotes can see perfectly at 20 feet, what we humans can see clearly at 75 feet. So, there was no way that the coyotes' laser-sharp eyes were about to miss that free meal. Number 16, the Opportunist. Did you see those scary yellow eyes? Who's out there calling them underdogs? I'd like to speak to them, because to me, coyotes are absolute savages. They will eat just about anything if they can get their scruffy paws on them. Look at this young coyote on the hunt. With his watchful eyes, he took in the entire scene from miles away.
There are far better opportunities on the open fairways.
He knew exactly where to start. Now, coyotes aren't strong swimmers, but this one was willing to get his fur wet just to catch those sneaky ducks on the run. But how far were they going to go? The coyotes can sprint at high speeds of 65 miles per hour. That bird was dead meat the moment the coyote hopped into the scene. Number 17, the Hunter's Call. This hunter is a professional, and you can tell from the way he howls. It sounds like there are 100 of them howling back at the hunter. But here's the thing. When a pair of coyotes howl, it sounds like there are 7 or 8 of the bunch nearby. It is an illusion to scare away the predators. Sadly, it doesn't always work. This time, the coyotes were fooled into a sly trap by the hunter, instead of them pulling out any sneaky tricks. The footage shows one coyote hopping into the scene. He could be the alpha, coming to the front to see what's up, but I doubt he'll be able to go back and deliver the bad news. Number 18, the Easy Trap. You'd think an area packed with humans walking in the park might scare away a coyote, but not this one. This guy had his eyes set on the target and refused to back down. The struggle was futile for this squirrel. It eventually ended up becoming a quick snack for the predator. But here's the thing. Coyotes are typically very fearful of humans. If they spot one, they will flee in the opposite direction. They aren't known to hunt in the presence of humans either. So, whoever this bad boy was definitely deserves the medal for bravery. Number 19, munching on a bird. This huge coyote was recorded eating a small bird. That prey was long gone before the camera started rolling. The animal finished its meal in seconds and started sniffing the ground for another hunt. A coyote typically eats 2 to 3 pounds of food a day. But judging by the size of this coyote, I bet he has a much larger appetite. Number 20, trouble in the neighborhood. Coyotes are an absolute menaces. Ask the pet owners. If the coyotes saw a cat or a dog nearby, they would go berserk just to get a bite of them. Look at this pack of 3 coyotes jumping high to get the cat hiding up there. Is this a good time to tell you that coyotes are crazy athletic? The predators can leap as high as 4 feet and hop over fences stretching to 6 feet.
Robert watching the clip of the intense interaction between 3 aggressive coyotes and 1 cat.
It's funny we're talking about it because I just seen a coyote we were working.
The prey can try to sneak into the tiny corners high up, but they won't be able to escape these leeches. See it for yourself. This cat had found a great hiding spot, but it just wasn't good enough, especially if you're playing fetch with the coyotes. Eventually, the cat decided to jump into the mouths of the aggressive coyotes. Maybe it wasn't its 9th life. Number 21, the struggling fight. This is footage from the trail camera set up in the forest. A lot of animals passed by the camera, but nothing came close to this fierce battle between a cat and a coyote. It was probably the most interesting part of the whole night. The coyote had the cat grabbed by its neck, and the animal was forcing its strength down on that bite. The struggle went on for a good 5 minutes until the cat finally took its last breath. But this fight wasn't to get a good hunt. The cat had invaded the territory of the coyote and had to pay the price. Number 22. The old beef. Here we are with yet another standoff between raccoons and coyotes. The coyotes chased the party out of the backyard, but the young one was left behind. The poor guy was hiding in a corner, trembling, but it was too foolish of a mistake. These guys can see 5 to 6 times better than a human. That, combined with their sharp nose, landed that raccoon into the coyote's mouth. In the coyote world, that means you're now a prisoner on the death penalty. Number 23, the easiest hunt. A coyote has remarkable speed, great athletics, and a good enough size to sneak up on the prey. But do you know what's its biggest weapon? That jaw of the coyote. The animal has a pretty special hunting tactic. It will reach for the neck and force its sharp teeth down that bite. The prey dies a timely death and becomes a hard-earned meal for the coyote. The bite doesn't always work. This is why you might see a few failed hunts by the coyote. But this one knew exactly what it was doing. Did you see that leap? The deer is a large prey. Going for its neck may be a hard target, but not for this athletic boy right here. That's a meal that will keep it well fed for the day. Number 24, the quick win. A carcass was out on display, and the coyote was close enough to sniff out its trail. The problem was that it wasn't going to be an easy meal. The bald eagle was already there, and the carcass had almost been devoured. There was only a small piece left that could have fed only one animal. Both the scavengers knew that. The coyote leaped into action to steal the meal. The struggle continued with the bird chasing after the coyote. Do you know how massive this eagle is?
Well, he doesn't seem to care at all. Though there is a guy running behind me, you can hear him clearing his throat. And there's a man with 3 dogs coming, none of which are on a leash, and I'm sure they're going to chase him off.
It grows up to nearly 7 feet. I'm surprised this flapping madness doesn't scare off the coyote that's hardly 2 feet tall. But the sneaky predator has its own skill to flex. Its speed. The coyote manages to take the win and the carcass. The bald eagle might be wishing for hands right about now. Number 25, cat in the bag. If the coyotes are near the humans, there is only so much meat they can eat out here. So, they go after cats, dogs, or squirrels. And let's be honest, dogs can be a tough competition for them, so they mainly stick to domesticated cats that can only do so much in their defense. This poor cat suffered the same fate. With its razor-sharp teeth, the cat could only struggle. Time to eat. Would you look at that majestic walk? Yeah, that shouts some main character energy. Number 26. The death stare. Can we first talk about the elephant in the room? Do you see how massive this animal looks? This coyote almost looks like a wolf. The camera absolutely doesn't do justice to this coyote. Even in its battered state, it looks pretty tough to handle. The footage soon proved that theory. With a dog marching up to meet the coyote,
pretty well behaved.
I told Koji not to chase him, and he won't.
Oh, good.
But before I could say anything, Koji was chased him like 3/4 of the way down the block.
Yeah.
The animal had a pretty furious reaction to say back to the dog. The battle started with the coyote only eyeing from a distance, but then things turned exciting. The predator had to pull out a power move when the dog kept inching closer to the coyote. Growl and flex its sharp teeth. Yeah, show this footage to anyone who says coyotes aren't dangerous. Number 27. Time to eat. The footage opened up to show a group of raccoons feasting on a meal. But if there's one thing the coyotes hate, it is the raccoons eating what they could possibly eat. Sounds like a pretty messed up family, no? The raccoons all scurry away except for this guy. I don't know what is up. He really thought scrunching would get him out of this messy encounter. The coyote sneaked up behind the raccoon and took him off on a crazy ride. Do you think it will eat the baby or kill it to make a statement? Yeah, either of the answers won't be any pleasing to hear, but hit us with your thoughts in the comment. Nature truly is insane. Number 28, in and out. This deer and its tiny baby had seen the predator lurking near them. Instead of running and leading the coyote on a chase, the mother deer decided to fight. It knew it couldn't possibly outrun the coyote. That thing can get wild on a chase, so that option was out the door.
It just works. You put in the drug you're looking for, and bang, you've got half a dozen or more choices in front of you, pricing and locations.
But choosing to stay was just as risky. It was probably a thing this deer was going to regret big time. The coyote closed in on its target, eyes set on its meal. The mother deer tried to deter the predator, but the coyote was too fast. It grabbed its meal and ran off like a king. New to the channel? Hit the like button and press subscribe. And to my old family, you have been here before. You already know the drill. Which of these clips left you admiring the sneaky predator? Was there any point that made you agree that the underdog is the right label for the coyote? Let us know in the comments. Share a story of a coyote if you have any. That's all, folks. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.